want to start with a quick show of hands. Who in the audience has ever been asked an awkward question from a young child? All right, quite a few of you. Well, I'm very proud to say that I'll become a father for the first time in July. And I'm really excited about this, but I'm also slightly concerned about those awkward questions. So I've come up with a plan. When my baby inevitably asks me about space and time, I'm going to answer with a conversation in rhyme. So if we lived on Mars and looked down on the Earth, and right into this theater, for what it's worth, we would see a great FameLab talk, although it would be the one from 10 minutes ago. But Dad, why? Confused, he might ask. Why can the aliens see in the past? How can they see things that have already been? Have they built a Martian time machine? Well, no. Mars is very far away. And that means there's a huge delay. You see, it takes time for light to leave our skies and travel from Earth to Martian eyes. Wow, cool. What else can they see? Can they see my favorite TV? Well, the channels might depend on the proximity. We've been broadcasting to space since like 1920. And those signals may have found some stars with some planets around. Ah! You might say with fright, maybe the planets think we're all black and white. Don't worry, we don't have to look that far away. We're looking back in time in our everyday. In this room, for example, from the back to the front row. The back row sees me slightly longer ago. Ah, I understand. So, because I am small, and I look up at you, who is very, very tall, I see you, but I see you in the past. But what if I ran past you really fast? Well, hold on, son, if you forgive my negativity. That is stretching into special relativity. And in the interest of time, if that's okay, we'll leave that lesson for another day.
Okay, so you're talking about time in relation to vision, or at least into seeing. So that has to do with wavelengths.
Space and time, yeah.
Space-time continuum type stuff, right? That's okay, just checking. So explain to me TV going out into space, because I've always wondered about this, because if space is empty, how does TV project into space?
Well, yeah, I mean, TV signals are kind of short of like radio frequencies, so they're just part of the electromagnetic spectrum as well. So really, I mean, they're going about the speed of light, more or less. So yeah, they follow the same kind of path as light does. It's probably unlikely that a full TV signal would stay together, the audio and the visual part of it, that would actually be detected. But I mean, it's quite important. We've been giving out these electromagnetic waves for a bit longer, because radio is older than TV. So we've suddenly become loud in the universe. So SETI always look for signals from other planets, and we've only started giving those kind of regular patterns out for the last couple of 100 years. So we've just become noisy in our neighborhood in the last 200 years.
Special relativity, the day is today. What is that? What's that all about?
Yes, special relativity just, well, first of all, the consideration is that light is always at a constant speed. That's the kind of first point of his principle. And secondly, just that it's the relative speed that things are going. Special relativity is about constant speeds. But if things are going at constant speeds away from each other or next to each other, then they will each see reality in a different way. So people often talk about clocks going at different speeds according to, if you're in an aeroplane, you're going very fast, and you look at a clock on the ground, it will look to go at a different speed than somebody that's stationary next to it. because the clock is moving relative to the airline passenger and it's not moving relative to the person on the ground.
That's great, thanks.
That was really fun. And it's a little hard to try to ask a serious question about anything after something so enjoyable and light. But actually, it just got me curious when you're talking about the difference between the time to see the back of the room and the front of the room. Presumably, the act of seeing, I mean, when those photons are hitting your eye is not when you're seeing, it's doing something inside your eye and your optic nerve and doing something in your brain and so forth. And how much time does that take compared to the time for the light to travel across the room?
Yeah, well, actually, the speed of the neurons is very, very quick, so almost comparable to kind of the speed of light. So it's the distance in the room is the longer one. I mean, still pretty fast. Light goes about 186,000 miles a second. So, I mean, it's not going to make much difference from here to there. Obviously, we see the effect all the time with sound. You see lightning, and then you have thunder a lot of time after. I was just saying, there is the same phenomenon with light, and that's how astronomers are able to look at things that happened billions of years ago from Earth.